In today's video, I have lots and lots of WIPS. I actually don't have a finished object for probably the first time in a while, probably will be the first and only time in a while because I am steadily making progress on these WIPS. Hi friends, my name is Amanda and welcome to my channel, AceKreates. Today I have another podcast for you. I was supposed to be bringing you a refresh of my top 9, but that did not happen. And so here we are with a podcast. I just couldn't get my thoughts together for a top 9, top 12 refresh. I have since done that. So I'm going to be filming back to back. So I will be able to get the next video as a refresh, kind of a mid-year refresh, reflect of my projects and my plans, including a completely kind of torn upside down make 9. So I'm really excited to show you my progress over the last 2 weeks of where I'm at on my projects. The first project I am going to show you is I'm going to go through my Tunisian crochet projects, and then I'm going to work on my knitting projects. So the first project to show you is my influencer sweater by Jennifer Lovett. And it is a sample sweater that I am making for Sam at Clockwork Fiber. So she sent me the yarn to make this sweater. She sent me enough yarn for a size medium, and she sent me her analog DK base, which is her non-superwash base. She's got it both in, I believe, fingering and worsted. I've seen Rachel from Rachel is Knitting use the worsted for her current WIP, and I'm using the DK, and I'm using the colors Beachcomber, Homestead, and Cardigan, and it's a color block pattern. And let me make sure I'm holding this up right. So this is the panel 1, and the last time we were here I was only about just over halfway on the panel, and now I am done. As you can see, I am done. I did the shoulders, so I finished that. This is Beachcomber. This is Cardigan, so that's color C in the pattern. And then this is Homestead. So I finished that panel, and then I went on to the front panel. So that was the back panel. And over the last week, I have made a ton of progress. I'm about 3/4 of the way there. I have actually finished color B on the color blocking, so I'm just working with the 2 colors now, color C and color A, Beachcomber here and Cardigan here. So then all I have to do, so I was able to get all this done this past week. My goal last week was to just get half of it done, but it just was kind of working away, especially once I got to the point where I had the 3 colors and I was slowly getting to the point where color B would kind of fade out. It was just like one more row, one more row, one more row. And so it was really kind of exciting to work on. Plus I've been having some sleep issues. So I've been doing this because I can't sleep. And so I will be finishing this panel this week. And then I hope to have one sleeve done again before we meet again. And so that's my plan. I have to get this back to Sam by the end of August. My goal is really to be done by flock so that I can get this sent out to her. It's a little bit of a tight, my real goal, my first goal is to try to get this done before we leave for flock. We'll be spending some time in the Pacific Northwest in the coming month. And so my goal is really to see if I can get this done and out the door before I leave Southern California. But if not, I would like to get it done before flock, maybe, which is the 10th and 11th of August. So that gives me a few days in August to get this done and finished. I'm just gonna have to take some blocking supplies with me when we go to the Pacific Northwest. But I'm really happy with the progress. I'm making size medium, and I'm using a 5.5mm Tunisian crochet hook. I actually had to size down from the pattern. The pattern calls for a 6. I had to use a 5.5 to meet gauge, and my gauge is pretty on. I'm even measuring it throughout the pattern as I'm going, because I was a little worried for a while there that I was going to run out of the color B, which is Cardigan. But I have about this much left and like 2 little mini balls of color B left. So I'm hoping this is enough to get me for the rest of the pattern. It was enough yardage, but I don't know, just in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna run out, but I should be fine. So I'm really excited to see this worked up, and I've made quite a bit of progress since we last met. So as soon as I finish this second panel, I'm gonna be blocking them, so that way I can kind of block them in pieces. Then I'll do the arms, block those, and then I can block them, then do the ribbing afterwards. So I want everything individually blocked before I start ribbing. And yeah, so this should work up pretty fast. It's been working up really fast. This yarn is scrumptious to work with. I had never worked with non-superwash before, but I'm really happy with it. And I really like the way it feels in my hands on the Tunisian crochet hooks. So I'm really excited just to see this kind of all finished and worked up as my first sample. Hopefully you can't hear the music in the background, but my daughter's napping, and so I play little lullabies. The next project that I have is a test project that I've been working on, and that has like literally exploded off my hooks, and I can't believe how far I am. It is the Indecision Sampler Sweater, which is in testing for Jennifer Lovett. I can't believe how fast this project is working up. That was the dog. When we last met, I only had about 3 or 4 rows done in the round, joined in the round for this Tunisian crochet sweater. But I am a lot further along. And let me see if I can hold this up correctly from what's front side. That's front. No, that's front. What's the front and what's the back? Because I am done with the body. I mean, other than ribbing and things like that, but I am done with the body. And it's harder to tell because I'm a lot closer in the frame now. But I have finished the whole body. So this is a Tunisian crochet, kind of make your own, choose your own adventure type of pattern. So it's a pullover that is done in Tunisian crochet in the round-ish. And I say ish because it is this cool technique where you do it flat and then you join after each round. So you join the first and the last together, and then you do your return pass. And you get to choose from 7 stitches. My kind of size, and so this is I'm getting a little confused because what's so cool about this pattern is not only is it customizable for like the stitches that you want to use, but it's customizable in your size. Obviously, it's customizable in your length. So you can choose, I think she's going to, currently I think the pattern is like 18-ish inches in length, and up to like 27-ish inches in length. She might even be doing a 16. I can't remember from the chat if that was an option, but so it's super customizable in length. I am going to be doing either the 19 1/4 or 19 3/4 length because I wanted something cropped, and the only difference between those is the length of your ribbing. So that's why I chose that length, because it was the number of rows that I wanted for the pattern, or like the pattern repeats, and I wanted something cropped. And the other patterns, you need more rows in each repeat, so that's kind of why I settled on that length of either 19 1/4 or 19 3/4. I measured another sweater that I liked the length of, and I figured that this is going to grow in blocking a little bit. My gauge is pretty good. I'm measuring pre-blocked about a 48-ish inch bust, and I should have a 50-inch or so bust by the time I'm done, which will give me about 5 or 6 inches of positive ease depending on the day. And so the yarn that I'm using for this is La Bien Aimee. Aimee? I say La Bien Aimee. I'm not sure what it is. Please tell me, someone. I'm using La Bien Aimee Merino DK in the color Tidal Whispers, which is this really variegated like steel green, blues, teals, creams, with like speckles of various, like you can even see some speckles of like reds, and let's see if I can find another. Hopefully that's coming through. If not, I'm sorry. So this is working up really fast, and this isn't even due until the end of September, but I think it's totally feasible for me to get this done possibly this month, if not early August, so that it is done and off my project hooks, my needles, and so I can get this off my hooks and get other things cast on. So what I need to do next, my next step is the seaming of the shoulders, and then I'm going to do the neckline, and then likely the body before I start for arms, because I'd really like to just see the kind of the finished vest before I do the arms. And so yeah, so you can see how this, yeah, that's the seam. So that's the seam where you join in the round, the front and the back. And then at some point you split for sleeves, and then you do a front and a back panel. And then you'll seam it up together at the shoulders, and then you'll do just like regular crochet ribbing. I haven't read that part, or I don't remember that part, so I'm not quite sure. I'm using an 8mm hook, which is likely why this has worked up so fast. The pattern calls for a 6.5. I didn't meet gauge on 6.5. I don't have a 7. and the 8 seemed to work on my swatch. I'm hoping that will still be the case. I'm a little worried about length, but I know that this will grow and I still have a lot of things. If not, I'll just be like this really cute cropped sweater. But yeah, this is the Indecision Sampler shawl. No, Indecision Sampler sweater. I did this shawl already. And this is due at the end of September, but it'll be done long before then, because I have lots of plans and lots of things to make, as you'll see coming soon. So I'm really excited just with how fast that project is working up. It's exactly kind of what I needed. It's just like a fast make, because some of my projects right now, I'm trying to find this strand of yarn. Some of my projects are going a little bit slower. And so speaking of, what we will do next is we'll move on to the knitting projects that I have on my needles right now. And so the first project that I'm going to be talking about is my Playdate tee from Callie Reedy on she is, I think, Needles in Life on Instagram, and that's where I'm at. So I'm just almost, I think I have like 3 or 4 more rows before I do the body ribbing. And so that's kind of my next kind of goal, is to get the body ribbing done. And then I just have 2 sleeves to do. They're short sleeves, and then I'll be done this project. And I'm really excited because this is my flock project. It needs to be finished in the next 3 weeks because we don't have that much time to get it finished. I only have a few more weeks before flock. And so let's dive into the details on this tee. So it is a top-down raglan with this cute yarn over eyelet detail as the raglan increase. Hopefully you can see that. So that'll look really cute blocked out. It looks a little wonky and not as like clean as I would like it, but I know that that will block out. So it's a top-down raglan. It uses 4mm needles for the body and 3.5mm needles for the ribbing, which is what I've been using. I was just about here the last time we were together, so I've probably done, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 inches since we last met. I'm a much slower knitter because I am a thrower. I do English style, and my hand comes completely off the needle, and so it's, stockinette in the round is pretty slow for me. I am using yarn Nouveau Yak DK, which is this scrumptious yarn, and it's the colorway Lydia, which is this kind of like mauve-y brown. I'm really excited to see them back at flock. For the most part, I was alternating skeins, and then I got lazy, and then I didn't alternate skeins here, which I'm kind of regretting, but you live and learn, because you can see just like a slight off on this, but I know I'm gonna have issues too when I get to the sleeves, because this was a whole nother different skein. And so I also had some issues with the joining on that. So it's things that other people can't see, but like I can see. I've also, like when I wove in some of the ends, because I started weaving in ends, I don't know if I'm just not weaving them in, but like some of them were showing through. So it's on the back, so I'm not really that worried, but those are some things that like I want to figure out, like either what I did wrong or how I could do it better, even if I did it the right way. because I was working through the back loops. So I'm not sure why it was showing, especially since this fabric is pretty dense. That's my only complaint with this, 4mm hook. It does make it pretty dense as a fabric. I would consider making this again and maybe just sizing up to a 4.5mm and just, hoping for the best, because just to get just a tiny bit more airiness out of this fabric. I know that it'll get a little bit airier once it's been blocked. So maybe I won't say that in the future, but right now it's just really dense. And it could also be the yarn, like the Yak DK. So I'd be interested too in maybe seeing this made in another yarn. There's also a mini version for children of this that I might get and make for my daughters so that we have a matching tee. I just would need to, and I think that the mini one allows you to do fingering weight, which is awesome because I would actually have rather have done this in fingering weight, just for a summertime tank, because it's been absolutely ridiculously hot here in Southern California. It has been in the 90s most days here. And I stopped tracking my knitwear for July because it's just like literally impossible for me to wear it. And so, because I just sweat all the time. I don't really want to sweat in knitwear. So this is my flock along. I'm gonna say we're gonna be done by the time we meet next. This is gonna be the next finished object on the podcast for sure. So, this is gonna be it. And then this will be my second knitted garment. So that'll be pretty awesome. Let's get that back in the bag. My next project that I want to give you updates on, I actually didn't get that far. I mean, it doesn't look like I got that far, but I actually did. Because if you saw my last podcast, you saw it, and you might have seen my kind of like text commentary as I was editing over it. But the next project is my Tolsta tee by Rebecca Clow, the Crayabea on Instagram. And this is where I'm at. I did my German short rows. I actually did more than that. I actually ripped up everything that I showed you last time, which was the ribbing and some German short rows, I believe. And I messed up my German short rows. I missed an increase and that kind of a thing. So I decided to rip it all out. So I redid it. I actually got smaller needles. It's supposed to be 2.75 millimeter needles for the ribbing and 3.5 for the body. I originally was using 3.5 for the body and 3 for the ribbing because that's what I had at the time, but I have since acquired 2.75. I am using Explorer Knits and Fiber Denali sock in an unknown colorway. It wasn't on the label, but I remember that when I got this in the D-stash, they said fake spindrift, so I don't know if that's what this is, but it's like a minty green. So I redid the ribbing, and then I sat down, and it actually didn't take that long. It was maybe over one long nap period, maybe about 3 hours, where I sat down and did the German short rows. And after every step, I highlighted what I did in the pattern, so that way I was taking it step by step and I wouldn't miss anything. And so it's a fingering. I'm using the fingering weight pattern. It's really cool, this pattern. You can do DK, you can do fingering, you can do bust shaping. I am going to be doing the F cup bust shaping. So I'm making a size large, but with F cup bust shaping. And I'm really excited to see this grow. I really like working with the yarn. So this is just going to be when I get time. There's no deadline on this. I had first thought maybe this could be a flock project too, but I just have so many other looming deadlines that this couldn't be a project that needed a deadline as well. So this will be a good car knitting for when we travel up to the Pacific Northwest. This will probably be a good, especially if I can get the yoke done before going up, and then if all I have to do is the rounds, although I don't mind doing just raglan increases in the car. I just make note of it in my journal. So the Tulsa tee, I'll probably have maybe not half the raglan increases done by the time we meet, but maybe. Actually, there's not as many as there was on the Playdate tee. So yeah, we're gonna have about half the raglan increases done by the time we meet. But like I said, that is something that I did not want a deadline for. I realized I just have too many projects in mind or tests upcoming that I didn't want a deadline for it. So those are my 4 WIPs. I want to show you, the next thing I want to show you is some swatches. I did some swatching yesterday actually. And I was chosen to test Jen Lovett's Explore mini sweater. So it's the children's version of the Explorer sweater that she has for adults. And now that I have a daughter, I was like, let me make something for her. And so it calls for DK weight yarn. The size that I'll be making is a 3T. And it calls for about 600 yards in a main color and about 60 or so yards, I think, for the contrasting color. And I want to show you the swatch that I did. This is my first crochet project in forever, like crochet, like not Tunisian, it's actual crochet. And so these aren't the colors I'm likely going with. I'm likely gonna go with the blues, but this is Color Theory yarn, which is an acrylic yarn. This is the colorway Canyon. This is the darker kind of red, brick red. And then the lighter color is Himalayan Salt. And so it's a cute top-down, I haven't seen the pattern, but from what I recall, it's a top-down raglan style. I don't know if there's raglan, but it's a top-down sweater. You do the yoke, you do a colorwork yoke, and then you finish off just in the main color for your bodies, for the rest of your body, and then your arms. There's ribbing. There's no other color work throughout the pattern. So this is the yarn that I'm going to choose. I actually am probably going to have to size up half a hook or a hook. So the pattern calls for 4mm crochet hook. I think for the, cause I got about 20 stitches, and the pattern, you need 18 stitches. So I'm going to size up a hooks to the 4.5 for the color work, but the body, I believe, I'm going to be able to go back down to the 4. I don't know. We'll see how it looks because it's definitely a lot looser tension here. I also wasn't as diligent kind of about making it so that it didn't have like long strands of colorwork floats in the back. I would like do 5 or 6 instead of every 3 or 4 of it alternating. So this sweater we're supposed to get this week. So, but it won't have until an October deadline. So I'm going to finish up my others projects tests and samples first before I really focus on this. But I will be using different colors, but the same color theory yarn. So I'm really happy with how that worked up. And then the next swatch that I want to show you is this crochet swatch again. So this is a swatch that I am using, oh, here it is, for its twister yarn from Hobie. It's color 125, which I believe is their royal blue, but don't quote me on the actual name. It's color 125. And it's this beautiful kind of royal blue. It's a cotton acrylic blend. So it's 55% cotton, 45% acrylic. It's from my stash. So this yarn is for the Love is Love crop. And it's one of the patterns that I have that's going to be on my top 9 for the year. And it had always been on my top 9. Originally I had chosen a wool cashmere blend from Sewrella. And the reason why I decided to switch, a couple of reasons. So I have 3 skeins of that other DK yarn that is kind of like that sweet spot for knitted t-shirts for me. Sometimes I need 4, but a lot of times I need 3. And I really was thinking that yarn would be great for like a knitted t-shirt. And secondly, it's 100%, or it's a wool cashmere blend. I think it's a 90-10 or an 80-20 or an 80-10-10. I don't have it with me right here. It's up in the stash. But I wanted something probably a little bit more breathable. I'm not really that fan of a cotton, but I was like, I have this. Let me try holding it double and seeing if I like it. So this is my swatch. So the swatch is just a repeat of double crochets. Couple things thoughts I have on the swatch. I like it. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, not too much, but a little bit of stretch to it. Because it's got the acrylic in it, it's got a little bit of sheen to it, which I really like. And holding it double, I'll be able to get, I'll probably need 4 I won't use all of them, but 4 skeins, because each skein has 437 yards in a skein, or in a ball. What do you call this? Cake. In a cake. And so I won't need all 4, but I will have to break into, and I don't feel like pulling from the inside and the outside. So we're just gonna, because Hobie has yarn that allows you to pull, they have the easy pull yarn from the center. So I'll be able to use probably 3.5 skeins ish. And so I think it'll also be a really nice, cool summer top. So it's a cropped tank. I will have put photos up for you to see, but it's a cropped tank. And yeah, I just think it's gonna look really cute. And I really love blue. I have a lot of blue yarn too. And it's a good way to use some stash yarn. It wasn't the yarn that I had originally intended for this project. I'd actually bought that yarn with this project in mind, not the Hobie yarn, the Sewrella yarn. But I just think that yarn could be, I could just make a better decision about if I have a summertime tank. I don't know if I want to make 100% wool or wool cashmere blend tank. This will allow it to get a little bit more wearability, even on hot days. And it will be machine washable. No, it's not machine washable, but I think, yeah, it's not machine washable, but who knows? We'll see. If not, it's really easy to wash. It's a cotton acrylic blend. So, yep, that's the swatch for my Love is Love. This won't get cast on till sometime in August. But I was in the swatching mood. I actually have to make another swatch because I have another pattern test coming that I will have more updates in the next one, but it's for Tiny Couch Crochet's Ashley Rivas. And so I'm excited to share that one because it's for her book. So the pattern won't come out for a while, but it's pretty cool. And it's going to test just my ability as a Tunisian crocheter. And I'm really excited for that. It's going to be a challenge. And I'm just really excited just to see it work up. And so I have some yarn. The pattern actually calls for sport weight yarn. I don't have any sport weight yarn in enough quantities in my stash, but I have some yarn that's DK weight, but I think could pass as sport weight. And I think I have enough of it. So I'm waiting on the pattern to get it to swatch. So I'll have that swatch the next time we meet. But that project will be due 3 months from the time I get the pattern, 12 weeks. So it'll be due about the beginning of October. So that will be a big piece of the podcast once I get that pattern and I can start working up the swatch. So that's why it's important for me to get this sample for Sam, the influencer sweater sample for Sam at Clockwork Fiber, and my Indecision and my Playdate tee kind of off my needles because I have projects coming on, whether they're projects I want to do or projects, I chose to do for testing. So really, really exciting time coming up. So the next video for sure will be the refresh of my, like a mid-year refresh of my, originally a Make 12. It's pared down to a Make 9. And I did some swaps. I'll walk you through the swaps, why I kind of justified the swaps. I took things completely out, again, just to pare it down. And so it'll be really exciting just to kind of check in with you and me about where I'm at on my projects this year. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. I do about bi-weekly podcasts, and then I'll spritz in other videos like my top 9 refresh, as well as I will have some flock content coming up. I'm really excited about going to flock. I bought a ticket for both days. I missed out on the kind of evening mixer. I'm a little disappointed on that. I had the reminder on my calendar, but we were at the beach and I just forgot to buy the tickets. They didn't think they were going to sell out on Monday when I remembered they had sold out. So it was a bummer, but I'm just going to keep an eye on Discord to see if anybody sells their tickets. So if you bought a ticket for the mixer and you can no longer go, hit me up on Instagram, DM me, send me a DM. We'll work it out. So thank you so much for watching, friends. I look forward to seeing you next video. Bye now.